Okay, folks, good morning. Welcome to the mess that is palm tree land. Actually, it's not really much of a mess, just in view here. Okay. No, we don't need those. Okay, so we have finished a few palm trees and sealed them. And sealed these trunks. I think. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what the best method is. And one thing I've settled on is we're taking the raw palm tree. Obviously, we're washing them. Actually, I trimmed the flash off of them. And then we washed them in detergent. Which I don't know if it made a big difference. I gotta believe that it does. I don't think it's gonna be a step I'm gonna skip. But we washed them in detergent, let them dry overnight, and we gave them the strong tone wash. And then we started from there. And I feel like the strong tone wash made it better for the other paint to adhere to. So. And these all just have the strong tone wash on them and have what color did we use? Barnwood, and then barnwood with a little bit of white dry brushed on it. It's kind of like a overbrush, I think is I call it wet dry brush, but I think overbrush is the accepted term. And the palm fronds, I just left them how they were. And then I've been painting colors on top of it. And I'm telling you, I really like doing this. This is like super relaxing. This is like, good morning, Barnes. This is like a way to like be like impressionistic in a way. Like, I could just kind of do whatever. And they look pretty fucking good. I'll tell you that much. And we haven't gone back and painted the coconuts, which we will do. Because they're visible. And no, they're not brown. For you people that don't live in places where there's palm trees, I know all about palm trees. I don't know shit about blood pudding. That's on you guys. Actually, I don't know anything about coconut palms. I don't have coconut. You don't want to have coconut palms at home. That would be a problem. Palm trees really only have a couple of bad things about them, which aren't really their fault. The first one is they always have little grapes, well, not always. The Washingtonias didn't. The Washingtonias had these. You had to trim them. You had to cut the old frond, and the old fronds basically end up being about this long or so, and they're sawtoothed, like a sawfish, except probably sharper, and they literally will get stuck in your hand. So you got to be careful cutting them. When I cut them and I drop it on you and you end up grazing yourself. And then they just get too tall where you need special equipment to trim them. Other than that, they're great. And then the ones that are date palms drop the little dates, which aren't really edible. Ah, you're back. Long not see you. Yes. It's like Chinese instructions. All the words are there. They're just in the wrong order. Long see you time not been here. No, I've given up going on. I'm doing the filmings in the morning, Monday through Friday. I'm too stretched for time, and you guys aren't showing up, and that's fine, But So far it's going well. I don't need them to be super durable. I just need to be like, when I take them off of here, the paint doesn't come off. Now, I tested something with this inadvertently yesterday. And this was, I needed to paint these fronds. I like to paint the fronds on the palm tree, after the trunk is done. And I kind of held this in my hand, and the paint didn't come off. And it sounds like, of course it doesn't come off. You're just holding it with your hand. I'm telling you, the first batch that I did, it was like you just like blew in the wrong way and the paint comes off. So I think they're going to be durable enough. I may have a couple that I mount by themselves, but most of them I think I'm going to put them in little dioramas, with other clumps of other things. I think I'm not going to cogitate about that stuff. I got hundreds of these. I plan on doing these for a while. Maybe just a couple of weeks. We'll see how many we knock out today. Today's like the real first time I have of like getting a lot done. So I've got this whole batch washed. I'm planning on doing all of these before I go and wash another batch. So I've had a torrid time multi-basing these skeletons. Rush to get them done before the grandsons come and stay the night. What size skeletons are they? Skeletons, I like to call them. Look out, it's the Skeletonians. I don't do fantasy stuff, but I have a soft spot for skeletons. I just do. They're like a classic thing. So I do like skeletons. Some fantasy shit's like stupid. Skeletons isn't one of them. Skeletons are cool. Skeletons have been along as long as humans have been around. You gonna make a diorama? Nope. No, we're making war game terrain for a Pacific island to be determined. An undeterminate Pacific island. Pacific Islands. So. Okay. And other shit too. I mean, I could use this for dinosaurs too, I guess. I can get smaller dinosaurs. You get bigger palm trees. I got some palm trees that work right into the dinosaur thing, but my dinosaurs are really big. Dinosaurs are like 1/48 scale or something like that. But dinosaur game is not to have people in them. I don't think that's funny. The only thing worse than people and dinosaurs together are cavemen and dinosaurs together. That's stupid. Like, how do you make people less interesting? Make them cavemen. Like, no. So how I'm playing fantasy games. I am pro-human, not cavemen. They're not human. Fuck those guys. I'm not a caveman person. 28 to 45 millimeter. 45 millimeter. Oh, Christ, that's big. 23 figures per base. Dear God. Mostly 15 millimeter. You know what I just like about skeletons? Let me make sure I use this correctly. Races? Yeah, I consider races. Yeah, I don't consider, people of different skin thing races. I may say it, but I don't really think of it that way. I think of like, elves, dwarves, orcs, that kind of stuff. That's races. I don't like skeletons of any race other than human. It's just stupid. The idea of it is just like, I've seen that before, giant troll skeleton. I'm like, that's stupid. Well, it doesn't appeal to me. You're finally done with my 88 millimeter flak cannon from Tamiya. Excellent. How'd it go together? Great, it's Tamiya. What could go wrong? I only have two problems with Tamiya. And one of them's not really a problem. The one that's not really a problem is they don't do scales I'm interested in right now. They make some 1/72nd scale aircraft. I did plenty of 1/35th scale things. I'm never doing that again. It just, what's the point? But there's nobody better than them. They're not very good because the detail has everything done for you. Well, add more detail to it, dumbass. Why should I suffer in having something that's can't go together well? Like, to me, is the gold standard, man. Those jokers there know what the hell's going on. Nobody even comes close. they have the best instructions. They have little cartoon guys, cute little cartoon guys in the instructions. Everybody wins. How many more tall ones we got? 1, 2 here. And then this one has the stem that broke off of it, which isn't a problem. We'll just deal with it later. Ooh, it's the one that's bent sideways. We're going to keep that joker bent. Let's bend it even more. I needed some to put the fronds on. Oh, and then we got the baby ones, which we haven't given them a wash. I'm surprised how quick the wash actually dries. I was pleasant, but we're going to do the fronds on these before we move on to some of the other ones. I have some troll ones plus everything else in between. Well, as long if you like them, that's, you're the one that's going to suffer if you don't like them. How many of these tall Rastafarian looking ones do we have left? These Rastafarian type hair. I don't want to paint the fronds on that in case I get some of the green on the trunk. All right, so this is the color it comes in. Which is fine for a base color. No problem at all. We're going to grab this light color and the yellow and some white. Hey, it's your favorite color, white. Do you say your name like that, or am I the only idiot that says that way? My wife would say, you're the only idiot that says that. I don't know when that started. All of a sudden, I add an extra in there. I don't know. It makes me me. I don't want to be anybody else. Nobody else wants me to be them either. I don't know when that started. Mr. Oof, how are you? So I went out of town last weekend. I took the computer with me. I figured, okay, I'm going to have 2 mornings. I'm going to wake up earlier than anybody else. No. One morning I had to go take the daughter to the airport. And then I still got back and had some time to fiddle around on the computer. And then the next morning I knew I was going to be able to wake up before anybody else. And I got like 3 or 4 hours to myself. So I'm like, all right, this is the time to mess with that game, right? I can't get on with it. It's the mouse controls. The mouse controls just drive me crazy. I know I need to stick with it. I did push around at 234 everywhere, but I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I want to do. Okay, move the 234 over there. Okay, that's good. All right, now he's moving out of frame. All right, let's move the frame. Oh, come over here. All right, let's move it over here. Whoa! The mouse the view controls on that game are like the aim controls on Grand Theft Auto. I just need to stick with it and I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm having a doozy of a time. So I've been like, well, I want to game something, and this is kind of like not going the way I want to. So I've been playing World of Warships. I know it's stupid on the computer too, which looks incredible. But my computer's like, woo! I mean, it's like, it's using every ounce of to render everything. But I only play that because it's chips. It keeps me from building them, and there's range estimation in the game. If the game was like did not have any range estimation, I wouldn't be interested in. I got sucked into buying. The last time when I left, before I got my computer, I had left. Last we left off, there was no such thing as Steam, or Steam was just picking up Steam. And there was not this thing of unfinished games where people sign up for a game at a highly discounted price, knowing that it is in process of being fixed. Okay? Whatever that's called. And there's a name for it, and I can't think of it right now. I got my head up a palm tree. And That wasn't a thing in 2012. In 2020, when I got the computer, all of a sudden there's a lot of these. You can't buy things in the store. It's in Steam, and then there's these pre-release unfinished things, whatever they're called. So I ended up getting this game called Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, or whatever. Beautiful game. You could build your own ships, which I'm not a huge fan of. Doesn't really interest me. But the game looks marvelous. But when you do the battles, all you do is give orders, fire at this guy, use this shell. That's it. It's like, I go make a sandwich, Because the problem with naval wargaming is, and I think the reason why it's definitely the least popular of the three venues, meaning ocean, air, and land, it's times in my life it's been the most popular one for me, or number two. Air has always been three to me. Air has always been the third most interesting one. And it's the thing I'm the most ignorant of. Well, ignorance is probably a wrong term to use. With so many ignoramuses running around, running their mouth, it's really hard to consider myself ignorant of most things. But yeah, I messed with that for a little while, and it's just weird playing a game that's not finished, because what happens is if they finally get around to finishing it, you're bored of it. You never get to experience the game fully made, because by a time you've played it so many times in so many different venues of it, being unfinished and what have you, that you just never play the finished version. And I know they're trying to, see if there's interest for this game, but, some things just stagnate and they never make it, Oh dear, I saw you went for the more peasant option. I also picked some of the jungle trees you recommended. Hold on a second. Peasant option. The Wu Home ones with the tiny umbrellas and the tiny little ground level ones. Well, those are coming. I suspect I'm going to paint them damn near all before I base any. Have you tried Rule the Waves? No. I may have looked at it. There's one that's real cheap, but I think it's kind of autoplay as well. And that might be the one you're thinking of. But I like the World of Warships, even though there's stuff in it that's stupid. Like, oh, you're supposed to be bow on at an enemy. Like, the fuck you are. That'd be like, getting your T crossed at Trafalgar and be like, all right, we got our T crossed. That's exactly where we want it to be. It's like, no. More guns on the enemy with less guns. That's how it works. What's the way the critical hits and stuff are done? Like, so you just gotta deal with that. Hey, it's a free game, so at the end of the day, you just walk away from it. But it keeps me from painting ships. So I've given up on doing mornings. And you guys aren't missing me that much anyways. Well, nobody comes on, so, It's just a lot. It's a lot of setup for just being on here an hour. So we'll be here on here more than an hour unless you guys don't show up for that either. Hey, you guys got other stuff to do. I'm just saying, I painted this one palm tree when I got home yesterday. I wasn't filmed, just doing it. This is probably super boring. It's going to be a lot of the same. I got some of the Washingtonians coming up, but I'm going to do this right. I think I'm doing the right thing, painting the terrain first, then worrying about the troops. I got some Japanese guys that are quite funny looking. Okay. So that's all we're going to do on that color. Then we're going to add some of this. These are the drieder fronds. I bought some of those Woo Home ones in 2023. Well, I have to go back and look, but I don't think those were my favorite. But we won't really know until they're painted. All of them, all of them look great. All of them look great unpainted. But I specifically avoided those stupid ones that come like two palms out of like the same thing at like opposite angles from each other. And you get like 30 of them and they're all the same. I'm like, no, that's just stupid. No, none of those. So this doesn't this doesn't have to be super durable. It just has to be durable enough that I mean, I'm not gonna handle these over and over again. You just can't like grab the trunk and then you got a problem on your hands. And I thought about maybe use Vallejo and it's a little bit more durable, but I'm like, nah, I can be wasteful with this paint. I can put these globs and walk away from it and feel all right. And I could airbrush these, but as much as I like airbrushing, this is a lot more satisfying painting this by. I'm a brush guy. I had somebody the other day who was like, "Man, your airbrushing is looking great," and I wanted to respond to him with like, "Have you seen my hand painting? Like, I suck at airbrushing. I'm a good hand painter. I'm proud of my hand painting skills. They've been honed over 40 years. Airbrushing, I'm some kind of freaking noob." So, speaking of airbrushing, I think I mentioned this on one show and nobody was there to hear. This place that I go to in Tampa called Spray Gunner, they sell airbrush paint. And they don't have Vallejo, they have AK and the ammo stuff. And that's where I picked up the sets or whatever. I subscribed to their Facebook page and they put a notice on there that they were running a seminar. We'll call it a seminar. It's funny, the work ones are really long, but if you want one for your hobby, it's really short. A 2-hour seminar on a certain Sunday in August with being run by none other than Mig Jimenez himself. And it's kind of pricey. I think it's pricey. But you get one of his paint sets with it that costs the same amount of the class. And I'm like, all right, now we're talking my language, right? Because, like, I like how my things turn out, but I wouldn't mind, like, trying, like, those oil brushers or something like that. I don't want to redo how I do stuff, and all of a sudden, Tony does chipping. I ain't gonna do fucking chipping. Especially since everybody does chipping. That's like my end to say, no, not everybody does chipping. I don't do chipping. I'm old school. I don't like it. And the more stronger the chipping is, the less I like it. But anyways, so I'm like, all right, well, can we do that weekend? It just so happens that I'm in for a wedding that same weekend. And it's just before the wedding. So I've signed up to go do that. So hopefully, I don't have huge aspirations of, what if there's like 30 people in the class? I'm like, well, I won't get anything out of it. At least I'll get that paint thing or whatever. Maybe I'll get a photo op with him or something like that. But I don't know. I don't want to get involved in his controversy. He seems to be a pretty controversial guy. I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but there's history there with him and other companies. But I'm not going to try to set up a arrangement with him, so I'll be okay. All right, that's the bottom frond of that one. This goes on a tall one. Ooh, this one's got a little bit of a curve to it. And I don't plan on ever ungluing these in. Let's do a top one. And I did sort them by, I took them all apart so we could wash them well. And I took, there's bottom fronds and the top ones. And the bottom ones I'm going to call this the Washingtonia because this is what it looks like. Ours, they come in yellow like this. I didn't even paint over it. I'm like, whatever color this comes in, that's the base color of the palm. I mean, I've got hundreds to do. I don't need to, spend a lot of time on them. They look pretty freaking great considering how much time I've spent on them. I think they look pretty great. I was checking my history on Amazon. I have a new fetish. Nail art sticker decals. Great for fantasy banner flags. Huh, really? Well, see, if you told me that I get to paint the miniature, but I don't get to paint the flag, I'd be disappointed because I'm a flag guy. Flags are my favorite part. Let's do something crazy. No, it's not. I'll say I need to hold this upside down and I paint the bottom of it. It'd be quicker. Yeah, it just took a little bit longer than I was expecting last night when I did this one. There we go. Now I'm going to hold this trunk by the trunk, and we should be okay. We were okay yesterday. Yeah, I like painting shields and flags, man. Don't take that away from me. But maybe you don't. Or maybe this nail stickers are really cool. Or maybe you just like looking through them. Because there's stuff I like looking through that I never buy. I can't think of what that is right now, but I do surf a bit. Nail art, huh? All right, I'll indulge you one search. On Amazon or the internet? Amazon, okay. I've never searched for that. I have not bought a single thing on Prime. And don't plan on it. It's Prime Day for us, by the way. Or it's been Prime Day for us. Nail stickers. Well, these are certainly cool. A lot of flowers and shit. Eight, 8 balls? Lucky number 7. Man, these would be really useful for cars. That's neat. Well, since I'm never going back to playing DBA, I don't know. The gaming itch is not strong with me. Like I said, I can play some video games and I can get my game itch out of it, and then go back here to being creative. So I don't want to. I don't want to build this stuff like for a diorama and not have any chance of gaming with it. Don't get me wrong, but my game itch isn't really strong. But I could see building some more Gasland vehicles or whatever. I can totally see playing Gaslands like this doesn't make sense. We're not going to play it this way. You know, like I'm done with that. This is stupid, but we got to play it this way because no, because Gasland's like nobody plays it in tournaments. And a Gasland's like a good like convention game. Nobody, I've never seen anybody play Gaslands at a convention. Most years are Halloween based. I don't know if I'd call it a fetish. It depends where you're putting the stickers. Then it could qualify as a fetish. If you're putting the stickers somewhere that's normally covered by clothes, that's a fetish. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not my thing, but you paid to tear those things off. I bet somebody's into that. I bet of all the things people are into, I bet somebody's into putting tape on places tape doesn't go and have somebody else rip it off of them. Not me. Pain's not one of my things I'm into. Yeah, I just realized I didn't paint last weekend. I was away. Probably the 4th of July that I've seen the least amount of fireworks was this past one. Are there any reasons in the old Blighty that they do fireworks? You guys don't have an Independence Day, so I can't do it for that. I was gonna buy some one time, and figured, oh, they're made in China. They ought to be cheap. Not fireworks. Like, no, I'm not pissing away money like that. Besides, it's fucking dangerous, man. Well, did I start on the wrong color? What a dumbass. All right. It's Duma. It's not a big deal. I'm supposed to use this avocado color first. For the top ones. It probably won't even make that much of a difference. Tonight is the Northern Ireland celebrating the Battle of the Boyne. I know that's like 1690, right? I don't know who the hell fought that. That was one of those. That was your inter thing struggles, right? Your Catholic king versus your Protestant king, and the Protestant guy won. Some roll them out for any celebrations. Bunch of knobs. Well, I consider fireworks more dangerous than guns. I know you're going to be like, "What are you smoking, Tony?" Hear me out. It's the whole sharp. It's the whole sharp knife, dull knife thing, right? Like guns, I think, guns are really dangerous, right? But if you're safe with them and use your fucking brain, and act like an adult, like, those of you that had a father figure, I don't think they're unsafe at all. Uh, you know, but fireworks, like, it's just firework. Any kid can buy them or whatever. Nah, you can, you know. And what I mean by that is, a gun's deadly. So you got to deal with it like it's a deadly thing. You don't point at anything you don't want to shoot. Keep your hand off the trigger. Don't use it. Don't use it against each other. Like we play with toy guns. We don't want to play with real guns. That's and nobody gets hurt, right? It all goes this way, right? Firework, you don't know which way it's gonna go, and yeah, I won't get fireworks. I'm also not shooting guns up in the air either. That's a little east of here where they do that. All that goes up must come down. Yeah, we have those knobs here too. Um, it'll be the 3rd of July and you'll hear them. Or it'll be the 5th and you'll hear them. And I was like, maybe they're just retarded by a day, you know? This little town that I live in, this suburb of the larger town that I live in, has really good fireworks display on the 4th of July. Like, really good. Like, it's 28-minute long. 28-minute long. Yes. 28 minutes long. And they do a pretty good job for a bunch of rednecks. Guy Fawkes in November. We should celebrate that here and try to blow up our people in Congress. Can we do that? All politicians, please. All of them. Hang them all. No, not my guy. My guy's a good guy. How about we use his entrails to hang everybody else? I hate them all. Liars. Every damn last one of them. I mean, think about it. Do you want people in your life that are lying to you? I don't. Oh, yeah, I'll see you at 8. And then they're not there. Fuck them. Liar. Whatever happened to him? He get hung, drawn, and quartered? Or did he blow up in the explosion? Or was the explosion a dud? How do I not know this? It's the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. Oh, Guy. I'm sorry, it's Guy Fawkes. Guido Fawkes. Why not Dago Fawkes? Because he's not a Diego. While fighting for the Spanish. Oh, he's a hero. Oh, the gunpowder plot failed. Okay, yeah, but did he blow himself up? Or did he? I have a feeling he got hung. He died in Westminster, probably. Conspiracy to assassinate King James the Sixth. Wait a second. Wasn't King James friendly to the frickin' Catholics, though? I mean, go blow up Lizzie. I read one time that there's multiple armadas, but you only hear about one of them. I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes good scenarios, right? We know what happened in the first one, so or not the not the first one, but the one that we know about, because the other armadas may have happened at the same time earlier, and I mean, that whole during that same period. Good morning, Marcus. Self-serving liars. Yeah, they all suck. Oh, we're going to tax you to fix this road. They don't fix the road. All right, what'd you use the money for instead? We can't find the receipt. Hang them. Liar. I think he was a Yorkshire man, too. Yeah. No, that Spanish ancestors were a bunch of fucking dicks, too. But, we had a cool flag. That helps. Oh, man. I liked your old country. I really did. And I was really expecting, because all you hear about Americans all the time as an American is like, you guys are too nationalistic. You guys have the American flag on everything. And all right, well, that's not the same thing. I have an American flag flying right now. Doesn't mean I'm gonna, I love everything about this place. There's fucking problems, but I thought I'm going to go to the UK and there's no Union Jacks anywhere. No, they were everywhere. I'm like, that's cool. It kind of made me happy. I mean, give a shit about the country you live in, or don't live there. Same thing happened in Spain. It made me happy. The problem is the world we live in now, everybody has a voice. And some people are out just being destructive. Some people just want to cause problems. As somebody would put one time, like, some of these people were never punched in the face. You say something stupid a long time ago and the bullies will come after you, right? Well, the bullies might come after you anyways, but point being, you'd get your peers would straighten you out. But now it's like, no, he has the right to say, ridiculous things that incite people. His mother was a Catholic, Mary, Queen of Scots. Yeah, I mean he wasn't an anti-Catholic guy. Blow up Lizzie. Besides, the Church of England and Catholicism are the same thing. I mean, they really are. I mean, so you don't have the Pope. Okay, who cares what he says, anyways? You know, they use the crucifix, right? Church of England puts the crucifix places, or at least they probably used to. It's the same thing. Just like Greek Orthodox. Same thing. Same thing. Been wanting to go to a Greek Orthodox thing. I've never been to one of those. I like their art. I just don't have a thing for bearded men. Okay, now we will add. This is the we had telephones in the house that were this color, and the fridge. I think our fridge was brown. I think our first one was avocado, but the other one was like caca brown. Or as they said in the Rome miniseries, CAC. CAC, CAC. I need to rewatch that again at some point. I've seen it twice. Won't be watching that with the daughter. For both of our sakes. So I've twirled this thing around in my hand, which is a lot more wear and tear than I think it would get in all of the games. Okay, and the paint's not coming off, so that's a good sign. And all we did was base color, strong tone wash, which dried a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. 2 colors of dry brush on it, and then sealed it with AK flat. That's it. And I'm not gonna, do this kind of shit to it or try to rub it off. No, the paint will come off of it. If I'm abusive to it. I'm just saying not being abusive is a durable not being abusive. Yeah, I'd want to make my own flags and my own shields. It'd be like painting this island and I get to do all the work, but somebody else gets to name it. Fuck you. I'm naming my own damn island. And I think the first Japanese I'm going to paint the ones that are really politically incorrect. As I've got some politically incorrect-ish type of Japanese guys. Hey, I didn't sculpt them. The guy that sculpted them is either paying the price for them being politically incorrect or he's being applauded by the maker. Or neither one. Man, I love doing this. Because you can just kind of be, I'm going to say messy, and it's not messy, but just kind of, just be whatever with this. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And if I go a little bit further, I'm saying, hey, there's not enough dryness of some of these. I can snip some of them on and move them. But I want to get kind of the main look of these done. There's no reason for them all to be crowded on one side. Okay. Let's get all that done, and then we'll come in and paint the coconuts. Marcus, you bought some palm trees recently, didn't you? Why did you pick the ones that you picked? I think all the sets have some value. My least favorite one, I think, was the one that had a bunch of palm trees, and it was like one of these, one of these, one of these. And then, but it's still also the one that had all the little guys. And you need the little guys, because little guys would be here at the base or whatever. Because these small ones, they're not going to be small ones about. The small ones will end up being probably near the larger ones, where the little seedlings fall off of it, and there's a little palm plant, a little palm tree closer than the other ones. Let's do the other big one, and then we'll have all that done. Which one of these has the longest dreads? This one right here. I know I can cut some of these off to make them look different, but I haven't done that. I bought them a year ago, picked up the org memory. That's the ones that came in the fucking box, wasn't it? It had one each of the larger ones. Is that the org? Is that the one that comes in the box? I'm trying to like wash them in groups. So, like these, whichever one they are, because I couldn't get them back in the original packaging. They were like impossible to get back. And this one, this has a lot of this kind. I'm probably going to do this one next. But you see this is like what my Washingtonia looked like. My Washingtonia palm that I had. This is definitely a dinosaur looking one. But you see how it's yellow here? I'm going to leave that yellow like that. And we'll just dry brush over it. It's just too much work to repaint everything. I have too many to do. And it looked pretty freaking decent. It's not like, well, it looked like crap if you do it that way. I'm like, no, we're going to try doing it the easy way. And if the easy way doesn't work, well, then we'll work on something else. But I've been pretty happy with them. This is giving you a lot of kickback on the brightness. But they look pretty damn good. And they look a lot better when you don't have all those multicolor shit behind them. You know. So I'm going to be doing palm trees for a while. I hope that's okay with you guys. We don't have to talk about palm trees, you know. All right. Fronds, we don't need to use that green. We can just use this. We can just roll right into this. And we can use one of these nappy brushes. Nappy ass brush. I almost picked up another set of the ground plants that I saw that came in, but it comes with a bunch of extra ground plants. But the ground plants are like too big. The other ones that I don't have. So I'm like, I'm just going to stick with what I have. You know, of course, we're going to have tufts too. So there was this one video that I saw, and I have to find it again. I was on a drive down, I think, Move My Daughter or something like that. And we had a tire went out. So I was looking for stuff to watch while the tire man came. We were actually, luckily, not on the side of the highway. We're at a gas station. So he pulled off to the side, and I'm watching videos for about an hour and a half. And this one guy that I had never seen before, I think I subscribed to his channel. Should just be able to. I just don't remember what the guy's name is. Was doing this video of how to make these palm tree setups for his war game thing. And the thing that was memorable about him was two things. He based them on cork, which I have some cork from IKEA. Thanks to IKEA. I don't know that I'm going to do that, but I'd like to look and see what it looks like. and that he also used like some static grass with some static grass thing that kept shocking him, and he kept using it. Like he bought some kind of static grass uh, sifter or something like that, basically to put it on, and you had to connect it to like some grounding source, and it kept shocking him because he bought some cheap ass thing from Red China. I'm like, I wouldn't be doing that. Something that's shocking you, like, I ain't gotta put up with that crap. So I have to find his video because I think they look pretty decent. Not that I'm gonna copy him exactly, but you know, I like looking at other people's videos because they've learned some lessons in doing whatever they are, and they might be lessons that I don't want to learn myself. You know, like I watched the Tarun. Let's just give him a completely different name. The Terrain Tutor, the Terrain Tutor's video on making palm trees, and there's some things that I like that he did, and there's some things that I didn't like that he did. So I'm like, let me watch this video. It's worth a. What I couldn't wrap my head around is he was spray painting these with acrylic spray. I didn't think you could spray. I didn't think acrylic sprayed. Maybe some kind of a fancy acrylic you can spray, but I always thought spray paint's automatically going to be enamel, which you can't use for this because it'll crack off, as opposed to cracking on like he does. Crack off. Yeah, I like watching him. He has a lot of freaking energy. And he has a good attitude. And I guess he went back to work because he had quit his job to do that. By the way, he has an accent that is very easy to understand for us Amerikaners. I love this just kind of doing whatever. Just I do generally like mixing colors. I do like putting two colors and making another color, as opposed to just, well, we'll just use them straight from the pot. I'm like, you're taking part of the fun out of it for me. Now, one thing that I noticed is it didn't take me long to figure out what I was happy with, color wise. I'm pretty good at color matching things. I'd hope so. I've only been doing this a long time. When you start dry brushing layers of different dry brush colors, that's when it kind of takes it to another level because you kind of have to visualize what's it going to look like on top of something else. And more than anything else, if you've got colors that end up making it look a little too chalky, it may not have the look you thought you were looking for. This is not the look you thought you were looking for. Okay, now we will pop this thing out. I also would have thought this would have been a lot messier than it is. It's not very messy. Good, because I'm not a fan of that, because You end up doing a lot of cleanup and fix it and transfer colors onto things you don't want to have that color. All right, let's get a tall frond here. Static grass applicator. Make one with a battery and a piece of wire. I don't know, I've kind of gone away from static grass. First it used to look really realistic. Now it just looks awkward. It just looks kind of awkward to me. Hey, this is going so well. I can I could do a side gig. Like you could send me to like Red China and I could be like in one of those. Oh, how'd that happen? I could be in one of those factories, like hand painting these things to send to America and get paid, like getting paid in rice, pieces of rice. Nope. Don't fuck up, Tony. Let's rinse this. We got too much of the lighter color in it. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to use something that is be shocking me all the time. Or like make it feel like you got that 9-volt battery on your tongue kind of thing, Like remember those big batteries that were a thing when you were in science class? It's like a huge battery, I don't know what it is. Like that big one that's like it's like this shape and it's like this tall. Chain things together. Bunch of little lights and stuff. Give them at Radio Shack. And then when we're done with this, we're going to seal the things, and invariably the trunk will get a second coat of sealer. So, actually, the sealer went really fast. I did not thin it at all. I did not use Kuram's famous thinner. I just did it straight from the pot. We just cranked it up to like 40 psi and just laid this stuff on. I don't want to say thick, but hearty. I have used cork floor tiles for the forest in the past. I think what I'm going to do, and I saw this, actually I think I got the idea from the terrain tutor from watching this video on this bamboo. I think the way I'm going to handle bamboo is, I'm going to make it in clumps, and I'm not going to make like a huge thing of bamboo, but I'm going to make it in clumps, and then I can attach multiple clumps near each other, and then put the ground sprinkles to kind of define the area that it's around. And that way you can move through some guys through it. I think that'll work. And what I'll do is I'll make a clump about this big, and I'll make another clump about the same size, and then put them next to each other with some sprinkles and see if I like how it looks. And if I do, well, that's the way to do it. So, but the bamboo I'm probably going to use the same way you would use buttes if you were doing something in the Old West. Like basically impassable terrain. Like you can't go through this. Like this is an area that is basically impassable. So cork is really expensive in the United States, as we don't have an asshole buddy relationship with Portugal, like you guys do. Wood's cheap. Well, wood used to be cheap. But if you go to IKEA, IKEA sells these, what's the correct word for them? A trivet to put like hot pots on, and it's a big chunk of cork. So we may use that, but I don't know what I'm making the bases out of right now. I'm not. That's not a big priority. I also have access to a shitload, and I do mean a shitload of styrofoam. Not this, but the actual, the one that's a little beads. So, if we didn't make any bunkers or something, I mean, they get rid of a lot of that stuff at work. A lot. They get rid of a lot of pieces that would be considered large pieces for what I need to use them for. They use them in manufacturing, and so I could go in the trash and get that stuff all the time. It's perfectly clean. It's just not using that part. So, but we're going to try to be methodical about this. We're doing palm trees, and that's what we're going to do until we have too many of them. But I don't think I'm going to return anything. I think I'm going to keep it all. Especially since they seem to be pretty durable. They seem to be pretty durable. Yeah, I don't want to airbrush all this. I'm going to miss a spot. It's not going to look right. It's going to look too smooth. I want this to look a little impressionistic. I mean, I don't have my glasses on. They look really good up close. So I started doing palm trees. So I decided to go back and take a look at that issue of War Games, Soldiers, and Strategy 126. Because 136 is the Russian one that just came out. 126 is the Pacific one. It's funny because the first 40% of it has nothing to do with the Pacific. And then it's all Pacific, the rest of the other part. And I looked at some of the terrain that they have there shown. And now that I've done palm trees, it doesn't look that good. I'm saying that, first I was like, man, it looks amazing. And then I start making some, like, man, these look really good. And then go back and look at theirs, and I'm like, oh, mine look as good or better than those. So that's good. That means I should be happy with this. Because you keep trying to push yourself, and at some point it's got to be good enough, and you need to move forward. But I wasn't that impressed with that stuff. But they've got a fair amount of lichen that's used in that. And they use the lichen to kind of hide the bases in between the different things. So it's like, you got your ground cover. But they've got one of them that they're playing on, like, looks like a dyed towel. So if I can figure out how to take a towel, because I don't think I want to use teddy bear fur. Teddy bear fur just sheds like a motherfucker. And I mean, I ended up divorcing myself, having to deal with freaking teddy bear fur everywhere. And it's a crap material to be everywhere because it's synthetic, so it sticks to everything, and it reacts with static electricity and stuff like that. It's a pain in the butt. I'd rather use a towel, buy a cheap towel, and cut it into places where there'd be like kunai. And that's what I call it, that tall ass grass. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get, before we paint a single Pacific dude, we're going to get the terrain where we want the terrain to be. And then the figures will just paint themselves. As opposed to doing the flip side, which is I paint all the Pacific guys, and then I can't wrap my head around how to do the terrain, and then just to have these figures that I can't play the Pacific with. Like, no. Besides, you guys wanted to see me do terrain anyways, or, I like doing terrain. That's how we're going to get on with this. But I feel like the detergent doesn't help, but it's got to. I gotta believe that it makes a difference. And also, just painting over the plastic forces this from looking too dark. Because if there's something I do that I'm not real happy with how it turns out, is I have a tendency to start on too dark of a shade. In other words, I have a tendency of starting a color too close to black before I start lightening it up. And there's just like, this is dark, but it's not that dark. So, but if I had primed this, I probably would have started at a darker color. So I don't know. Just nice to kind of have a little bit of a different look. And I like that you don't have to wait for this stuff to dry. I am one of my palms now alongside of the Japanese I showed you. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to wait on the Japanese guys. I think that's the wise move. I think that's the wise move. And I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to getting one of those Japanese half tracks. And that's the whole reason I do the make believe Japanese place. It doesn't even have to be an island. It could be a peninsula. You know, I think I want to build a Japanese half track because they're cool looking. Well, they didn't use them except in fuck that. You don't have to. It's not like I'm using an imaginary vehicle that never happened. Or one painted pink or something like that. No, they made this actual vehicle. I want to use it. I don't want to put 20 of them. I want to use one. And that will allow me to do that sort of thing. I think what I'm going to do is, and this is, I think, the angle that I'm going to go at. When I make up a Japanese island that's similar to another one, I'm going to name it a similar name. Like, for instance, let's say I wanted to use some landlocked place that the big armies fought over, but it's heavily forested and there's all these temples and stuff like that. It could be called shawarma, because it's like Burma, but it's not. That type of thing. We're not going to call it, whatever, But that's the fun part. I saw that on the Face of Battle Facebook page, the guy posted I guess it's the author, whoever posts as to the Face of Battle, some battle that they ran, and I'm like, they ran it at a convention, and they used felt for terrain. I'm like, I'm looking at that. I'm like, I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play a game that looks like that. Like, that's not, doesn't excite me in any way. Now, these larger palm trees definitely take longer than the smaller ones. So, if you're wondering, how the hell are you going to make 200 palm trees? Well, they don't all take as long as this one. This is actually the last large palm tree of this style from this set. Yeah, this is durable enough. It hasn't come off at all. I'm being kind of careful with it, but I'm gripping it. It's got a little bit of yellow, which isn't really that bright. What color is it? Right? camel or something, I bet. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Just the tips here towards the bottom. Man, I've cut down many a palm tree branch. That's what it is. When it's time to trim, cut off everything that's yellow. It's already dying. It's not doing well. Why are you falling down? Why are you hiding? Let's see what we're looking like. We got the 2 done this morning already. It's not bad. That's the big ones. All right, so now we have the second size down. Okay, this is for a large one. How many large ones do we have? That's why I don't want to do a whole bunch. Then it's going to get really out of hand. 2. Okay, so these 2 large ones are going to go with the 2 long dreads, which are these 2. Okay, so the next size up are these 3. Will be one of these. All right, let's live life on the edge. Let's try painting one of these already on there and see how we get on with that. At some point, I got to use these original ones. I don't want to have to open up another pack just to do that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. They just need to have a little coconuts painted, which that'll be fun to do. Mr. Ben, and now you're back as Ben. You got a late 19th century, early 20th century China project on the go, and the osprey on the Chinese armies then mentions that at one point every other man carried a flag. Wow, that's exciting. Even after they started to modernize, they had 40 flags in a single 300-man unit. So I have Chinese flags to acquire. Excellent. I'm going to have to go look up some vocabulary for the Japanese and stuff. Like, how do you say you fuck up now in Japanese? That kind of shit. But the Japanese just have a an NPC thing. Like, you're not going to get to play them. I mean, unless you played, everybody played Japanese and you're fighting like early Americans or something like that. Like, you got to be on the attack. You don't want to be the Japanese on the defense. That just isn't any fun. I've played them. It's no fun. You're just sitting there in a hole, Virtual Armchair General has a massive collection of Chinese flags he sells as PDFs. Let me get a refill on this tea. Be right back. I shouldn't even call this tea. I should call it Crystal Light, because that's what it is. Be right back. All right, so I had a thought, and this is why I want this freedom in my soul to be able to do whatever I want, within reason. I have a Stewart. I don't think I can do that without one. But the Americans didn't have the Sherman until like mid 43, maybe even late 43, as a fire support. What they had before was the Stewarts, and one of the Stewarts they had, I don't know if they had them early in the war, or it may have been later, but they converted them to flamethrower Stewarts called Satans. So I already see right now having a 3-pack of Stewarts. And, one of them is called Lucifer, the other one's called Beelzebub, and the other one's called Asmodeus or something like that. Sorry, I'm invoking my Asmodeus. That's one of them D&D type, monster manual bullshit things, I never really cared for that added like, demons and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to play a game where demons are real. It's just kind of, dumb. Not really what I want to do, but anyways, that'd be kind of cool, have that paint on the side of them. Satans. I was a little disappointed with the Marines. The Marines I have, the Airfix Marines, I went on Plastic Soldier Company, and the first thing that I noticed about them is like, just something about those Marine figures look a little bit too much like U.S. Army, not actual Marines. And sure enough, they knocked them down pretty, even though the sculpting is really good on them, they knocked them down pretty far down on the realism scale for Marines. So, yeah. Oh, already using the wrong color, dumbass. It's Dumas. Nope. Not when I'm doing things like that, it's not. It's dumbass. Alright, this should be quicker than the other ones because it's less fronds to paint. And honestly, most palm trees aren't this size. There's that's the super tall ones. And I don't know how many I've gotten all the packs. Probably 20, which sounds like a lot, but not when you got 120 of the other ones. I don't know exactly how many palm trees I have. It's probably better I don't check. But I think I'll be able to paint them all. Bakagaijin would be useful for a Japanese to say to the Japan Yanks. Bakagaijin. What is that? What kind of cussing am I getting into? Bakagaijin. Of course, the problem that I have with Japanese in particular, and it may be all other Asian languages, is I am a devout Westerner. So the pronunciation, even saying something as mundane as Tamiya, may not be said Tamiya. It might be Tamiya. The breakdown of where the syllables fall is not natural to me. As a stupid American. Oh, man. We've been watching this Japanese show last couple nights. I don't remember what the guy's name is, but it's pretty entertaining. Some Westerner goes to Australia. It's pretty entertaining. We're enjoying it. We enjoyed the travel channel, the travel thing that was done by Eugene Levy. That he did, and this is kind of along the same terms of that. Oh, we watched all the Oh man, what's the guy's name? I can never remember his name. Is the guy from Top Gear, the one that I like the most, the hippie dude. I like that guy. The hippiest dude. Anyways, where he goes to Japan. That's a pretty funny. That's a pretty fun show. Watch that. It's just stuff you can watch as a family. It's not great TV. It's just something. It's just something to do. Keeps me from being swallowed up in an earthquake in Japan. All right, this is for one of the tall ones, so we don't need that one. We don't need that one right now. We have two tall ones left, right? Where did they go? Yeah, two. Okay, so here's the toppings for those two. So all these other ones should be a little smaller. James May, yeah. Asmodeus is a real name for the devil. Baka means idiot and things like that. What's the gaijin part means? Fucker. Idiot fucker. I told you, Mitch ended up. I know I've said this before, but this is Mitch's story, but he's not here. Because he's working today, sucker. He's been fucking around all week. He gets to work on the weekend. He went to Vietnam, where his wife is from, and he went to some Vietnam museum, and because technically they won that, they won their Pyrrhic victory, or maybe there's so many Vietnamese it's not really even Pyrrhic, but anyway, so they won. So anytime the Americans gets come up, they don't say Americans, they say the White Devils. So that's why it's White Devil. Gaijin means foreigner, stupid foreigner. Well, that's not rude enough. I like James May. I do. The other two, the one guy, the guy that's my age, the little short dude, he's just a punk. And he likes Ford things a little too much, so. And Jeremy's just, he's almost Trump-like in that he's never wrong about anything. And it's just like, that gets a little old. And I know it's just a fake persona or whatever. I like their early shows because it's more focused on the cars. And I'm a car guy, but I'm not a car guy, but I am. I'm like a car guy without the budget to be a car guy. The later ones are just like all the reality television that's around. It's like it pretends to be not scripted, but it is. So it's like I don't watch things like that because I'm like I don't fall for the bullshit. It's like people that are like falling for politicians that promise them something and they think they're actually going to deliver on it. I don't like reality shows because of that. It feeds into the fact that you think that this is really how it went. And it's just horse manure. So. Oh, we need to flip these two. Gaijin, stupid foreigner. Could do better than that. You can do much better than that. Baka, I like the baka part. Baka kaka. What color is this? Fern leaf. Oh. Some of these other colors are just outlandish. Like, this isn't the land of misfit toys or what I called it the other day. Pee-wee's Playhouse. I don't know why I said that. Like I've seen that or anything. Mitch might pass without the shoes on, gone native. Yeah. If he was in his house, if he was inside his house and he was barefoot, he's just not inside his house. That's the thing. Like, I don't wear shoes inside my house, or I wear house shoes. You know, as you bring in dirt and stuff. We were looking at our bedroom the other day. It was like, man, we got a vacuum. This whole area is just like has like this dust. I'm like, we're clean people. I don't wash every day, and but just dust accumulates and stuff. But like bringing out the outside stuff, like think about it. Let's say you go and get gas. The floor on a gas station, like where you get gas, is fucking nasty. Just like, forget it being nasty. You got like petrol and stuff. See, I Englished that up for you guys. Petrol and stuff. You don't want to bring that residue of that in your house. You know. And then you take a shower, and then you're walking around barefoot in your house, and you've got leftover residue of petrol. It's just, like my shoes get left in the garage. I don't put them outside in the front door like I'm expecting, some dog to come in and leave some Hershey's Kisses in it or something like that. But they're in the garage. I come in and out through the garage, so. But if I gamed in an outhouse out there, an outbuilding, I'm putting shoes on to go to the outbuilding and keeping them on while I'm out there, kind of thing. I'm going to see the cars and projects from Top Gear next month at the Grampian Transport Museum, Alfred. We started watching them in order, and there's just too many different things to watch. Well, I was really hoping that the U.S. would be able to buy the U.K. and straighten out that whole driving on the wrong side thing for you guys, since you can't seem to straighten it out by yourself. Either that, or let's bring swords back. I mean, your choice. The swords thing might actually be the better option. Like, you get ready to go out to dinner. It's like, does this hilt go with my outfit? Well, you guys had managed to screw that up. He'd be like, oh, only nobility can carry swords. Fuck that. That's what got us to split up from you guys. Nobility crap. That's like our politicians and sports stars. Hey, we should revolt. We should have a revolution from ourselves. Yeah, I don't. If I went to Japan, I wouldn't want to go to Nagasaki or Hiroshima. I just If there's any residue, I'm really bad at science, but I am not a risk taker. There's no reason to go to those places. Nothing good can happen from that. Nothing good can happen from that. Make sword sticks legal again. Yeah. Machete. That'd be good. That's what I'd carry. I'd carry a machete. I remember the first time I used a machete. My dad gives me a machete and says, "Hey, go trim those banana trees out in the backyard." We had 4 or 5 banana trees over beside the little building that you keep the lawnmower and stuff in. I'm like, all right, the thing's like this big around. I'm like, I'm gonna be here all day. One swipe, it's down. I'm like, damn. Like, this is now it's got all kinds of residue and shit. A banana plant's got all kinds of shit in it, and the roaches just pour out of it because they love hanging out in there for whatever reason. There's probably something decomposing in there. They love the smell of it. It's like, ooh, rotten stuff. Yeah. But that's my roach voice. I guess. But so they're nasty in that respect. Anything that makes the roaches / palmetto bugs, also known as a big ass Florida cockroach that flies. Big. Fucking creepy as shit, man. Give me snakes. Give me snakes, please. Yeah, it's impressive. A machete is impressive. And it's relatively portable. It's not like, hold on a second, I need to step away from you to swing this, because it's so damn big. There's got to be some, what do you call it, some anachronistic things about Pacific Islands that would be like stupid to put in them. Fucking luau, you're going to Marines land and they're having a damn luau or something. And this one, we're going to add a little bit of white to this. And we'll give these things another seal too. No, let me put my glasses on and step away from it so I can see what I've done. That lighting in here is just so damn weird. Let's do this. Let's kill this. they look chalkier than they really are. They're really not that chalky, and it's because of the kickback on the white. All right, I'm gonna use the little boy's room, and I'll be right back. There's a manufacturer that the name escapes me, but I came across them. I need to get rid of some of these brushes. They're really constraining the ability to get in here. But there's this manufacturer I came across with. I don't know who the hell it is. Something like Wartime Miniatures. I bet that's not who it is. I know that's a manufacturer. I just don't know what the hell the manufacturer. But anyways, that they make this set of adventurers in Africa or something like that. But it's like guys on like a tramp steamer crew or something like that. And I'm like, it's Lawa. It's done by headhunters. Well, in New Guinea, there's still cannibals on New Guinea, isn't there? One of those islands, I was looking at the pictures of them, and like the people are extremely dark. They're a lot darker skinned than I would have thought. But I'm just a stupid American. What do I know? Cannibals on New Guinea. Korowai. Well, there's that one island that was in. There was that one island that's in the Andaman Islands or something. The Andaman or the Maldives. I want to say it was the Andaman Islands. And it was like an island that everybody like agreed like you shouldn't go on this island. Like you can't go on this island. It's not part of India. Don't go here. And some ship like went over there and ran into trouble and they ran aground and like the people ate them. Like, and it's like, sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. It wasn't like, I read that a couple of years ago. Like, you broke down, you go to this island, it's an island you're not supposed to be on, it's either that or your ship sinks. You make it there, waiting for somebody to rescue you, and they don't come rescue you, and the people there eat you. Like, if that's happening to a member of my family, I'm going to nuke everybody on that island. I'm going there and I'm going to hunt every person down on that island. And sorry, I'm a vengeful fuck. If you like accidentally landed there, it's like, but what would I be doing in the frickin' Indian Ocean anyways, in the Bay of Bengal? I think they chomped up on some Japs during the war. Sushi sometimes is red meat. Show me some pictures. Oh yeah, these guys definitely do not look like they're. Well, I don't know. I guess it makes sense that they look like a combination of people from Africa, India, and Maori. I guess that makes sense that they would be like a. Oh, this is interesting. In Papua. Oh, this is the stuff of nightmares. Imagine if they made figures for that. That's where they got the idea from that creature in Pan's Labyrinth. You know who I'm talking about. The whole hands on his head so he could see. That's the stuff of nightmares. Hey, we need to make a mask. All right, what do we make a mask of? All I have is this Play-Doh. Okay, that'll work. I swear I fought this guy in Diablo 2. I believe I've killed that motherfucker a few times in Diablo 2. Hey, this would be cool figures to have. At least they're wearing stuff over their dongs, man. Look at that. What in the tails of the gold monkey is going on here at this island? North Sentinel Island. That sounds right. That sounds right. There's an island like you can't land on here, and literally like they went after like the it belongs to India or something like that, and like they went to the authorities like, hey, you need to do something about this. Like to find these people. It's like, no, we cannot go to that island. They like to eat us too much, or whatever it was that they said. We cannot partake in landing on that island, or they will partake of us. That's the Canadian version of the. Sorry about that. That's some cool looking figures, though. Look at this stuff of Nightmare, though. Somebody makes like 20 millimeter tramp steamer guys, though. Like a whole crew. Let's see how long it takes me to find it. 20 millimeter tramp steamer crew. I bet I'll get it right on this. Nope, there's a whole damn tramp team. I guess I shouldn't be so damn optimistic. I don't know. Not like I just kind of want to look at them just to look at them. Not like I'm going to order them or anything. I got plenty of stuff to paint. They are uncontacted, so it's feared that anyone going there might wipe them out with an illness. I think the estimate there are like 300 or so of them. We're going to go visit them with a sniffle. I say we leave them alone. They can just inbreed themselves to death. Well, there's got to be some places on Earth where there's just like you can get some privacy. Because man, I swear, like you can't go anywhere around here without people like getting in your shit. I don't mean like you're going somewhere to like. I'm saying you're minding your own business. You're not doing anything illegal. You want to go stand. You want to go somewhere at lunchtime and just sit under a tree and like not encounter anybody. There's just too many damn people in Florida. Like there's always fucking people screwing around with you. And I don't mean not like violently screwing around. It's like, what are you doing here? Like you park somewhere and somebody comes and parks next to you. Like, dude, they got the whole freaking. Why here? Like if I go somewhere, and I've done this before. Like when I used to bring my lunch with me, and I'd go somewhere for lunch, and I'd go somewhere. It's my spot. I normally sit under a tree, and there's somebody there. I don't go anywhere near them. I give them a wide berth. I respect people's privacy. I don't want to get in people's shit. Next thing you know, you're a witness. I don't want to have anything to do. Just leave me alone. I don't want to see any humans during my lunchtime. Leave me alone. And it's hard to find those places where there's not anybody right there. You go to some like strip mall that's closed down and parked in the middle of the parking lot. Somebody come up next to you like a cop. Hey, everything all right here? Well, there was until your freaking cop ass came over here and asked me. The fuck out of here. Geez, I don't even do any drugs. Let's go after people that are doing drugs or smoking crack or. I'm not even surfing any porn during my lunch hour. Get away from me. I'm looking at war game shit. Like any sensible person would do. Oh, my dad had that. My dad had that tugboat. It's what a bizarre scale. At least it's an even number. 107 would be much weirder. It's probably usable as a what if building. As a what if. Yeah, the doors are really small. Yeah, that's good old Ravel and Lindbergh. They're notorious for that box scale. All right, what does box for it to be in? What scale do you want it to be? They make shit like, they make like a German SDKFZ 7 or a 9 or one of those. And it's like 1/43rd or something like that. Or 1/50th. There was I was looking for Italian planes to crash in the desert. And there was a company that made a G55. I'm like, perfect. A G55 or a G50. I think it was a G50. A Brescia. I'm like, perfect. It was like 1/50th scale. Like, it's not even 1/48th. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What kind of pasta are you smoking over there? So it was an Italian company that came up with it or whatever. Super Modello or something like that. And I'm like, it's like that's like a one-off. Like I want a model of a boat and I want to put it in my library. All right, let me get this tugboat, and then put what scale it is. If you're doing a one-off, you don't care what scale it is, right? Because you don't have to compare it to anything else. Yeah, 108th. They have these battleships, and I want to say they were used to be made by Lindbergh, and they had like the Missouri and like the New Jersey or something like that, right? They made a couple of them. Same class, the Iowa class. Same model, same company makes them, and they're both two different scales. So you figure, okay, well, they're sister ships, right? So I understand that it's weird to have one 543rd scale, right? But at least I have two ships. I don't know why you'd want to build both of them because they're the same damn ship. But anyways, both of them are in the same scale of each other. Nope, they were in different scales. One was like 480 and one was 543. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you people? No wonder we can't make anything right in America. Bunch of dumbasses. I saw those Atlantis models, and they're like, oh, they're all their big tagline is they're made in the USA. I said, well, don't be proud of shit. That's like there's stuff that it's okay to be prideful of your country, but not if they do dumb shit like that's the wrong stuff to be proud of. Yeah, Atlantis Models does stuff like that. And Atlantis Models supposedly is a new company that took old molds for different people. They took like Hellers and like Lindberghs and old Revels and stuff like that. Like basically all the hand-me-down molds. Atlantis Models. And then, okay, they make like American ships. Cool. So you need to make Japanese ships too, right? So I'm not like, you can't have all American ships, just like these guys that make German tanks. You can't make German tanks upon German tanks upon German tanks and then don't do anybody else. Like, you need to be able to, like, compare. Atlantis Models. Okay. Decal store, shop all. Let's go to shop all. Yeah, I'll accept all cookies or whatever. 148th, 148th, 196th. Okay, this is an interesting, ugly helicopter. This looks like something that would go together like ass. 196 scale. If you okay, well, if you're going to do that, there's probably like a whole series of planes in 196 scale you do. No, we make this Lockheed Neptune. It's also not a warplane per se, on skis, and it's 1/104th. Okay, so there's probably other planes in 1/104th, right, that you could put up and compare to it? Probably not. Model airplanes. Now let's go to model ships. That's what we were talking about. Model ships. Okay, USS Bainbridge, 1/600th. Okay, that's a real scale. They make a skipjack oyster boat carry. Price is it's a 1/60th scale. Like, all right. Oh, they make the Bismarck. Awesome. That's a popular model, right? What scale is it? 1/618. Why not 1/600? The Wisconsin battleship, 1/665. North Carolina, 1/500th. Nautilus submarine, 1/300th. Gato fleet submarine, 1/240. The Ticonderoga, 1/500. Oh, they make two kits that are 500 scale. Great. The Pittsburgh. Oh, they should make that like 1/500 scale. No, it's 490. Forrest Sherman, 1/320. This is a bunch of assholes. Like, I wouldn't buy shit from them. Here's the Iowa, 535. It's 535 scale, and the Wisconsin is 665. The 665 is 2199, and the 535 is 2499. Why are they not the same scale? You bunch of assholes. Dickweed. And they do make some things that are 1/72nd scale, because they made like a helicopter there that looked like it was 1/72nd scale. Modern helicopters. 1/72nd, 1/96th, 1/48th. They make three helicopters, all three are different scales. At least two of them are in a normal scale. Model airplanes. 1/48th scale triplane, okay. A 1/08th scale C-141 airlifter. It's on pre-order. Hold on, it's coming soon. We're making another plane in a weird ass scale. 1/54th, 1/400th, one. It's a B58 Hustler in 190 in 193. 1/93 scale. B-26 Invader bomber. Oh, cool. I could use one of those. Nope, not at 1/67th. I can't. This place. These are a bunch of ass clowns. Frog used to make 500 scale ships, and that's fine. But did they make like 1 in 500, 1 in 423, 1 in 615? You know. No. Weird, man. Weird. I came across Frog the other day. First of all, I didn't think Frog was a UK brand. Frog has an acronym. Something like ready to go or something like that. Frog. Planes and ready to go. I forget what it is. I came across and I thought it was just like they like frogs or something. Frog should be a French company. Just saying. Well, as long as it's not a vacuum form kit, I'd give it a shot. You know which models I miss? Testers. And the reason I miss testers is because they would show you a picture on the cover of the finished model. None of this great looking box art that your model will not look anything like. Just the actual model that somebody actually put together. Flies right off the ground. Yeah, there you go. Flies right off the ground. Well, that means we could put a bottle rocket in it. Nope. Can't say I've ever destroyed a model by using a firecracker. I've never had access to firecrackers. This last one, no, we got a couple more. And then we'll do some trunks. And that's probably where we're going to stop. We'll let the trunks dry, which doesn't take that long. Now that we know that this is pretty damn durable. You know, I don't want to abuse these things. I want to be able to like handle in it, not like come off. I think we'll do all the coconuts at once. Maybe we won't. Flies right off the ground. How many viewers we got on here? 5. I don't feel like I'm getting any more viewers just by doing vertical. I may shift to going back to doing it horizontal. It looks a lot better horizontal. I just wanted to see how many more people I could come by and ask me to eat a cockroach for $100. That's the people that you get. People that aren't really interested in the hobby at all. They're just like, hey, let me get a rise from this guy. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong person. You misbehave here, you're gone. Time for me to do the grocery run. We'll check to see if you're all on later. Okay, Marcus. Yeah, I love about this. I don't have to wait for the paint to dry. I can just continue. Like I said, it's kind of impressionistic. Now, Terrain Tutor was saying, Mel was saying in his video, that somebody had recommended to take the flash off by using candles. I may try that next time. I don't know that I'll have any good results, but if these trees have one fault, it's that if you have to clean up that flash, it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I think the price is okay on them. I mean, I spent a lot of money on these trees, but I got a lot of trees. You know, it's not like I got 10 trees. Seemed like most of the vertical people were transient. Yeah, well, they did this boost. They did this boost where it was suggested as shorts, and they may have stopped doing that. I really don't follow what happens to what's popular or trendy on freaking YouTube. I just kind of turn my thing on and I'm just here to hang out with you guys. Or you guys hang out with me or whatever. Have some kind of interaction. Well, there's a couple people I think that found this channel that wouldn't have found it otherwise by it being recommended to them. I don't know. I don't feel like these are taking too long to paint. Wish I would have kept all the little extra cannonballs I made out of green stuff, because they could work for little coconuts on the ground. All right, which one's this one? This is a rather large one, but maybe not. Maybe it just looks that way. You know, and I thought, like, okay, I could switch to using Vallejo. Maybe it'll be a little bit more durable, but I think this is... I don't plan on abusing these things. I don't plan on just throwing these in a box. This shit's going to start taking up a lot of space. And, well, I got space above this thing here I can put them. They're not going in the garage. The garage just destroys everything. There's just too much heat out there. And it's insulated, but there's still too much heat. Well, I told my wife the other day, last night, I say, doing this island thing is an opportunity to paint some backgrounds. Just saying. Although my picture taking skills are probably one of the things I'm the worst at. I'm just not good at taking pictures. I had this idea that, the camera, man, the camera on their phone is really advanced. They should just be able to take what I see, and it isn't. The human eye sees things that just can't be captured on camera. I see it all the time. I'll be like, man, this looks great. Let me take a photo of it. What the fuck happened here? That's not what I'm looking at. Yeah, this one more palm tree, then we do some trunks. And show you guys how easy it is. Or at least, the base color on some trunks. Although I need to buy stock in frickin' strong tone, man. I say that, but I'm not going. I'm not going through that much of it. This is a frequency that I use it. It's a great product. But I've heard that the dip that they do isn't the same. So as they make like a one that comes like in a Minwax type of varnish container, it's not the same material. It's like I think that one's actually a an enamel type product. Yeah, this paint seems to be holding on pretty well, so I'm really happy with that. And like I said, really surprised how not messy this is. Oh, already starting on the wrong color, dumbass. Let's rinse this out. I wonder if anybody's done something really cool, like one of those old play sets, like that whole Guns and Navarone play set, like painted it up or whatever. Although that thing's really vertical. That's this deep and, 3 foot tall or something like that. All right, I'm going to use the restroom. Be right back. Yeah, really liking this. Really, really liking this. Really happy with that. Because, yeah, I could look better. I could just prime the whole thing black. But, man, I got to paint more than one palm tree. You know? we eventually have to get to painting the troops. And then we can have an airstrip. And then on an airstrip, we can put that P40. Whoop. But the big palm trees definitely take longer to paint. Well, there's more. There's more to paint on them. This color is really watering. Is it a folk art? It is. Okay, this one we're going to do a little bit different. We're not going to add any of that color. We're just going to take the white. This is what I like about doing this. I can just kind of do whatever the fuck I want. I don't know if it would make any difference. Let's take this and add a little bit of yellow to it, and then we'll highlight with that. Maybe this one's not doing so well. I know. Keep your pants on. I just don't see having to touch the fronds at all, though. trunk is, I bet if I scraped that, I'd probably get it to come off. But we don't want to do that. It just won't. We just don't want this thing to just get destroyed just in the process of carefully handling it. Easy. Easy there, killer. It's not that different. Maybe a little bit. Whoa! What's going on? Oh, it's on something it shouldn't be on. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna leave this one for a second. Let me take a break from this. And let's get some tree trunks here. So we're gonna go ahead and do these two that we left over, and that one. This one accidentally broke off. I'm gonna set it off to the side. We got lots of palm trees. We ain't gotta fool with that right now. Put these on right here. All right, let's get the trunks of the Washingtonias too. All right, let's get a new one of these, or this old one. Let's see, which one of these tones has the least amount in it? Because we need to kill some of them, because we got too many halves these things here. This is dark tone. That's a different animal. That's the weathering ones. That all we have? Just those three? We might have to get some more going into town. That's it. Okay. We're down to 3. Okay. This one seems to have the least amount of it in it. Yeah, I don't know. I think they paint up pretty quick. I think they paint up pretty quick. All right, let's get a brush that's not too expensive. This is actually where it grabs nicely, is here at the top where the coconuts are. that means? We can probably wash us another batch tonight. I have no idea how many palm trees I have. Of course, I could just count them, but I want to do them in sets. I'm being way too frugal with this. How do these peel off? Do they peel off okay? Actually, yes. I don't know if I need to keep this for anything. There's really nothing not in there. Okay. But hold on to that. Maybe we can rinse that out and use it for something. Those actually look like better bottles than the Vallejo ones. Okay, and then we can just grab it from the top. Blammo. Yeah, this is working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. Ooh, pop that bubble. Bubblicious. And I did flex one of these trees when it just had this brown wash. I want to see how durable the brown wash on it, and it flexed with it pretty well. Now, if I probably used oils, or if I used actual like tube acrylic paint, it'd probably work even better. But I don't have either one of those two things, and I have enough paint. I don't need to be out buying paint. Like, I should be happy enough using what I have here. Let's do all these. Some of these trunks seem to have a split in them, almost like it's made of two different pieces. Not always, but sometimes. I mean, the coloration on this looks really good. And just being able to use the base color of this as the base color of the tree, and the base color of the frond as the base color of the leaves is really a time saver. Now I gotta keep my eyes peeled for styrofoam things and save them to use them for this kind of thing. Maybe I'll be finally motivated to watch Bridge on the River Kwai. I've never seen it. I know it's not much of a war movie. Oh well. They do have real Japanese people play Japanese, right? Not one of those one of them screw ups like we'll get some pale faced guy to play him. Some white devil to play him. But I shouldn't be surprised that these toys paint up pretty well because the dinosaurs are basically on the same level of quality and they look pretty damn good. Yeah, I'm actually thrilled how well this is turning out. And this is definitely the way to do it. Do the terrain first. There's lots of different things I can use this terrain for. And the rest will follow. It's funny, the little palm trees have some of the base, the based. Yes, they have some of the based. They have some of the best pokies on the bottom of them. They're the sharpest. The based. So I got some. Well, you guys have seen it. If you've seen the video, you know what I have. I got some plump ones. I don't know if those are really for the South Pacific, but they will be on this make believe island. I was trying to find that one article. I think one of you guys turned me on to it. There was some island near, I want to say it was near Rangoon or something like that. Rangoon or what's the capital? What's the capital? Bangkok or something like that. They had a bunch of like alligators or something like that. The Japanese got attacked by alligators or something like that. This is a hell of a lot quicker than priming all this shit. And the nice thing is these are a different color trunk. So when you go and paint them, they look differently. And I dry brushed them with exactly the same colors. There's a thick ass tree. A stump and a half. I'm sorry, I meant to say crocodiles when I said alligators. Habit. Florida habit. Sounds like how I'd say best. Best? What part? The fact that I didn't have to spend all the time priming it? If I can save, I'm not huge on skipping steps, but on cutting corners. But sometimes, you know, I'm not doing this for torture purposes. Like, I don't need if there's a quicker way to do something, let's do it. We can spend time on some. There's some things you can't cut corners on. We need more. Yeah, we're gonna need to get more strong tone. I don't like being this low. But it's pretty nice how this toy, which is really what this is, has pretty good detail. There's some Matchbox cars and Hot Wheels cars that have pretty nice detail, especially if you take all the paint off. But uh-oh, we have an insolent trunk. Let's put this over here so it won't fall towards those guys. And get a little bit of wash on it, and I gotta clean that up. And then what I'm really looking forward to is making a few deciduous. I think I'm gonna make some. I just haven't decided how I'm gonna do it yet. Those definitely will not be on separate stands. And I think I'm gonna make them with the American equivalent of the horsehair. We don't have that horsehair stuff here. We have this. We have that. It's like a scouring pad type thing. If I could just find one of those that was black, wouldn't have to like spray it black. But that stuff's pretty tight knit. You gotta pull it apart and you get pretty tired pulling it apart. You're putting a whole lot of. I may use tweezers or something to do that instead of just using my bare hands. Oh, I guess it doesn't flex that much. All right, so I got two options. I think I should make this as a broken tree. I wanted to see how much it would flex. I guess it doesn't flex that much. Or I can glue it. I think I'm gonna make it a broken tree. There's an opportunity. Hey, I'll make one. If it doesn't work, I won't make another one. This actually has a hole in it. I think we'll leave that alone. Didn't seem like they were that brittle. Guess they are. Well, I got so many I can have some broken ones. Some of the stuff in that one in some of the pictures in that magazine had some trees that were broken, like in a clump. Now the trick is going to be like, how do I attach this thing? Well, let's be smarter than what we're working with here. Might actually turn out all right. Might actually turn out really well. Haven't broke. Who knows? I might break some more. Some of the greatest discoveries were actually mistakes. I just made that up, but it's probably true. That's what you're going to do. If you're going to break something, break it before you spend any time painting it. Now this one, I'm gonna do the bottom as well, so I don't really know what's going to happen here. It's probably going to be falling on the ground. This is one of the most empowering things I've done though in a long time. Well, that's not true. That Italian house was just. I kicked that out of the solar system. That I really impressed myself on that one. Bamboo is the one that's really going to challenge me. I'm sure we'll figure it out and it'll come out great, but you think about it. I feel like this isn't taking that long. Now, what I'm probably going to do is if I encounter these type of palm trees in any of the other packs, I'm probably going to modify them. And by modifying them, I mean I'm probably going to cut some of the fronds off so they don't all look exactly the same. And if this takes a while to do, because I have a feeling some of this stuff I may have to do in the garage. The longer I wait, the cooler the garage is going to be. It is scalded. It's been scalding out there lately. Let's make sure this is mixed up. Oh, that's not the one I should be using. And this is a product I think that's available to all you guys in Europe. I mean, well, it comes from fucking Europe. This is that Danish drip, right? Yep. Skanderborg. Recyclable bottle, rinse before discarding. Oh, but this one says made in Spain. They subbed it out to the Spanish to work cheaper. Well, all my paints are Spanish except these. These are cheap ass American things. That's what I got them for. I got them for terrain. I got some blues here that'll be for French buildings. The wife enjoys looking at these things more in the tanks. It's more real. She don't sit around looking at pictures of tanks, but she does encounter palm trees. Kind of a sense of knowing what you're looking at, kind of thing. Well, my daughter's been away all week. She went as her first and probably last babysitting adventure. She got invited by these people that one of her other friends knows that's also on the babysitting trip with them. Multiple families got together for an Alaska trip and babysit their kids, which they all split up. I guess they're like 4 families and they got 12 kids or something like that. I think each one has like 3 kids. Like, who the hell has 3 kids, man? But anyhow, she's got like an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and she's going absolutely crazy because freaking rich, spoiled brats. But they paid her way for everything, so, only thing is it's just the time. We just wouldn't have brought our kids to that age on an Alaska cruise. I mean, that's really expensive for the kid not to want to be there. I'd rather go back to Europe than Alaska, man. Russia didn't want Alaska. Why would I want to go there? That's not my country of origin. I like that. I like that. Love that. I love that. It's so true. And it's funny because one of the things I like the most about Europe, it's pretty high up there, was all the walking. Like, you can't walk here in the U.S. You walk, what are you going to see? Somebody else's house. You walk a little further, you see somebody else's house. You see after that, there's nothing worth walking to here. There's nothing worthwhile walking within walking distance. And walking sucks if the weather is bad. Here, you got to walk. You got to go to some place like St. Augustine or something like that. Savannah, Charleston, somewhere that is worth walking, outside walking. But here, what the fuck are you going to look at? Ain't nothing to look at here. Speaking of which, the road that leads to my neighborhood, the first house that's on it has this interesting flag. I think they're a bunch of like Krishna hippies or something like that. But it has this interesting flag that reminds me I need to stop and take a picture of it. It's this flag flying from their house. It looks really similar to like something you would see like on a Taifa Kingdom or something like that. It's got a lot of like embroidered shit on it. And no, it doesn't have script like, like a Saudi Arabian flag or something like that. It's definitely interesting. I need to take a picture of it and Google search and find out what it is. It's nothing I've seen before. It's definitely medieval looking in the sense that it's almost like embroidered. But it's shaped. It's really long shaped. Reminds me of something they would have in one of the Taifa kingdoms in Spain. Well, this has gone really well this morning. Because, like, these are the palm trees I have. This is all of them from the first set. And I don't feel like I'm really rushing. But I pretty much see all these done by the weekend. That's pretty impressive. Because the dry brush phase doesn't take anything, and then we're going to seal them. We're going to go ahead and do that. That obviously worked really well. The first ones I did, I just dry brushed the colors on the stump, and it was really coming off. So I ended up covering up with this wash, and I think that helped a little bit. And then I dry brushed over it, but that's like an extra step. Like, why even bother doing the first dry brush? So obviously sealing it with this wash helped quite a bit, the durability. And the craft paint adhered to this wash better than it did just the trunk. So I may be able to airbrush this, but I want it to be fairly thick. Uno más. Now the next set I do will probably have some plants that are shorter. Like those little tubby things. Little pineapples coming out of the ground kind of thing. And I hope I can do this with all of them and not have to paint the base color of the trunk at all. Like, just use whatever color plastic it comes in and do that. Now, I'm going to take a look at this and make sure there's not something glaring that's missing. Okay, I need these. Shit, it damn near dried already. That's fantabulous. And we're going to let these things dry. All right, folks. Well, how long have we been doing this? I'm going to say 2 hours. Nope, 3. Well, it didn't seem like it took very long. But here we go. This is where we're at. So these will end up getting sealed, and these dry brush and then them sealed as well. And then we'll be in the same boat that we were in tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I definitely see doing the fronds on all these guys. So, all right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy your